The journey that Keanu Reeves has taken through Hollywood is characterized by a singular combination of modesty, originality, and an unwillingness to adapt to the flamboyant demands that the industry of Hollywood calls for. As Reeves continues to draw farther and further away from the mainstream, concerns arise as to whether his departure from traditional film is an intentional step away from an industry that frequently fails to acknowledge genuine creativity, or whether it is a pursuit of creative independence. Is it possible that the conflict that Reeves is experiencing with Hollywood is an indication of a significant shift in the way that he perceives his legacy? In this article, we will investigate how Keanu Reeves, who was once considered Hollywood's golden kid, came to be at conflict with the very system that allowed him to become a celebrity. The 1980s were the beginning of Keanu Reeves' career, as he began with supporting roles in films and television shows. The year 1989 marked the beginning of his career, when he was cast in the role of Ted Theodore Logan, a likable character despite his lack of intelligence, in the film Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. The film's eccentric sense of comedy struck a chord with a younger audience, establishing Reeves as a rising star in the industry. In spite of this, Reeves was successful in a variety of fields, not simply comedy. When he played FBI agent Johnny Utah in the action picture Point Break, which was released in 1991, he demonstrated his versatility by playing a character that highlighted his ability to perform in high-octane, action-packed films. It was because of this accomplishment that he was able to land increasingly more major roles, which ultimately led to his renowned performance as Neo in The Matrix, 1999. The Matrix was a revolutionary piece of science fiction that was recognized for its amazing effects, philosophical profundity, and Reeves' portrayal of Neo, a hacker who turned out to be the savior of humanity. Not only did the success of the picture establish Reeves as a prominent actor, but it also coincided with a significant turning point in his performance career. Even though he became famous all around the world, Reeves never lost his humble nature. He was known for his kindness and generosity, which included things like giving up his seat on the subway to complete strangers and donating a considerable percentage of his earnings to charitable organizations. The combination of his modesty and the outstanding variety of his acting abilities won him the hearts of his audience and established him as one of the most lovable actors in Hollywood. Even though he has achieved a great deal of success, Reeves has never really embraced the conventional route to celebrity in Hollywood. In contrast to the majority of his contemporaries, who are always pursuing rich roles and aligning themselves with influential studio executives, Reeves has always placed a higher priority on his values than with financial gain. It is well known that he declined a hefty offer to star in Speed 2: Cruise Control, which was a sequel to the enormously successful picture Speed, 1994. The reason for his refusal was that he was not interested in the storyline or the progression of the film. A great number of people in Hollywood were perplexed by this move because sequels typically ensure larger compensation and success at the box office. There have been times when Reeves' refusal to follow the usual Hollywood script has resulted in costly consequences. As a result of his decision to decline Speed 2, he was met with criticism from officials at the studio who regarded his move as being ungrateful and short-sighted. As a result of the damage done to his reputation, certain studios placed him on a blacklist for a period of time. Nevertheless, Reeves never wavered in his dedication to parts that struck a chord with him on a personal level, even if doing so required him to forego the possibility of financial security or the opportunity to appeal to a wider audience. The defiance of Hollywood norms that Reeves displays extends beyond the parts that he chooses to play. He has regularly chosen to star in independent films, which has repeatedly resulted in him passing up possibilities to star in blockbuster pictures. During the production of The Devil's Advocate and The Replacements, for example, Reeves agreed to accept a reduced salary in order to ensure that the production would be able to afford to hire renowned actors such as Al Pacino and Gene Hackman. Even though he was able to acquire the admiration of his fellow actors by his generosity, he was not able to win over the hearts of studio executives who place a higher value on financial gain than creative integrity. The fact that Reeves is ready to put creative vision ahead of financial gain has contributed to his status as a maverick in a field that is primarily focused on commercial success. After the release of The Matrix, he made the decision to leave Hollywood at the pinnacle of his career in order to pursue a career in theater and music. This decision further established his reputation as an artist who was not interested in playing by the rules of the industry. Under certain circumstances, his unusual style has caused his ties with studios to become strained, which has resulted in disagreements behind the scenes. With regard to his relationship with Warner Brothers, the production company that was responsible for the Matrix trilogy, Reeves had one of the most remarkable times of struggle in his career. Despite the fact that the first Matrix film was a huge success, the sequels, Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions, were beset by tensions that occurred behind the scenes. The Wachowskis, who were the directors of the trilogy, had a unique vision for the films, which did not always coincide with the commercial goals of the studio for which they were working. Over the course of these disagreements, Reeves, who had a close working connection with the Wachowskis, took their side, even if it meant alienating executives from Warner Brothers. The sequels failed to capture the same enchantment as the original, which resulted in mixed reviews and additional animosity between Reeves and the studio. Despite the fact that they generated enormous income, the sequels failed to capture the same charm. In spite of these obstacles, Reeves' dedication to maintaining artistic integrity rather than focusing on economic success has only served to enhance his reputation as an actor who is more concerned with the craft of filmmaking than the business of filmmaking. The release of John Wick in 2014 brought about a surprising change in the trajectory of Reeves' career. It was initially thought that John Wick was just another action movie, but it eventually became a cult classic, and a major part of the credit for this success goes to Keanu Reeves' performance as a retired assassin named Wick. The unexpected combination of strong action and emotional depth in the picture was particularly surprising for an actor who is predominantly recognized for his appearances in action films. The commitment that Reeves showed to doing his stunts contributed to the film's authenticity and helped it stand out in a genre that was already rather competitive. Reeves' career saw a renaissance after the release of John Wick, which resulted in a string of lucrative sequels and reaffirmed his position as a prominent figure in the world of action movies. In addition to being a sign of Reeves' willingness to take risks, the part also represented his resistance to be categorized into a specific genre. It also indicated that Reeves was still capable of surprise audiences and renewing his career on his own terms, even after having spent decades working in the industry. In an industry that frequently requires conformity, Keanu Reeves' career is a demonstration of the power that comes from remaining loyal to one's own identity. His choices have gained him a reputation as a modest, principled artist who places a higher emphasis on creative expression than on financial success, despite the fact that they have occasionally caused him to be at odds with important figures in the entertainment industry. Because of his willingness to take chances, both in terms of the roles he chooses to play and the path he chooses to follow in his career, he has become a singular character in Hollywood. He is a celebrity who is cherished not only for his performances, but also for his honesty and genuineness. Keanu Reeves is a shining example of what it means to pursue a career that is driven by passion rather than profit, and he is becoming increasingly prominent as Hollywood continues to undergo change. He is not only a successful box office performer, but also an artist who has continually defied expectations and carved out a path that is entirely his own. His legacy is not only one of box office success. The journey that Reeves has taken serves as a reminder that great artistry is not characterized by adhering to standards, but rather by the fortitude to build one's own path, regardless of the consequences. This is especially important in an industry that is sometimes lambasted for its lack of artistic originality.